Hi Libra, welcome to a new era. My name is Emma. Happy full moon day, happy 12-12-12, and also we have a very rare, happens in 500 years, not maybe every 500 years, but it happened apparently 500 years ago, that Venus, Saturn and Pluto is in, whatever you say, trine maybe, towards like between each other. Which, to be quite honest, I'm not an astronomer, I'm not an astrologer, I'm not I'm not anything. I sort of just feel into it, like mostly like just an intuitive feeling. It's just a grand day today. I feel like it's like a tipping point, so something that you've been dealing with, something that you've been working up towards, something that you've been wanting to shift, just something that you want to like pick up speed. It just feels like going through today, and as I'm looking at the clock when I'm recording this, is 12:12, and then it's 15:15, which is 3:3 in Sweden. And if you want to play with it, there's a whole lot of threes there. There's 3-3-3-3-3. There's 5 threes, because 12 also equals 3. And 3 just stands for pure joy, creativity, fun, lightness, just anything creative. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but I just saw that it was really in alignment there on the clock, and it's 15 in Swedish. That's Swedish time. I know it's 3 p.m. Anywhere else, I guess. So it's an awesome day. We have the full moon in Gemini. We have the trine situation in Capricorn. And Capricorn is all about laying the groundwork, like building a home. It's all about like structural things, work-wise, like enhancement in career, basics. That's to me. That's the truth to me. And Gemini is all about communication, all about like, yeah, it's so different. Like my dad is a Gemini, and one of my sisters is a Gemini, and they're completely different. I mean, for my dad, it's so true that it's all about communication, words, language, books, just anything like that. Education, like you couldn't put any other more education in there if you tried. He's sort of done it all. And if you take my sister, she's the most creative. She does everything. She just literally does everything. She does everything from baking cookies to changing the tires on a car with no problem. And she's the one who to just say, oh, we should have new windows here, and sort of replaces the windows of her own house. And I'm not exaggerating. That's really who she is. What they have in common, though, is that they have a gazillion things going at the same time. If a Gemini sort of has one thing going, they would probably be bored out of their system. So it's like you probably will feel it, that this full moon, that this alignment, that whatever is going on right now, it touches a lot of areas. And specifically the areas that is like on the brink to something, on the brink of a breakthrough, the tipping point. It's like probably for the past decade you worked towards it, and here it is. Like today really is sort of like a portal day for you to walk through. And like I've said to the other signs, of course this energy has been worked up until this point, and it's going to continue to work past this point. Think towards the New Year's. And like if we had Christmas every day, it wouldn't be like, oh, it's June and it's Christmas, and we have then July and it's still Christmas every day, and it's like, oh, was it today? It's the 12th of August. Okay, so what is it? It's Christmas Eve also. It's not that all that fun, right? So it's a specific day. We've been waiting for it. We've been planning for it. Maybe you buy a tree, you get presents, you make dinner, all of that. Santa Claus is actually coming in Sweden. Santa Claus is coming during the night in the like the Americas and dropping stuff off. And if they were to know, like, if we weren't to plan that, if we weren't to talk to Santa Claus and say that he was going to come, it wasn't going to be like a big surprise the day after. So this is sort of the same thing. Whatever you've been working on is sort of leading up to this. You've been planning for it. You've been preparing for it. You've been like really wanting this to happen. And since this is your love reading, it's for the upcoming 2 weeks. So it's starting today and then go past Christmas. Merry Christmas. Excuse me. And it's like Venus is in play here as well, which is all about healing emotions, relationships. It's a lot of financial gain as well there with Venus, but to really focus on that maybe you're on the brink of something relationship wise. And so I'm just going to have a look at that and see if that's going to be like a very specific, particular reading for you today, because we're in this very special energy. So let's see what comes, Libra. And you just being all like about the justice and having equal, like it might just be that you're feeling it extra much just because whatever you have sort of paid in the past that is not in balance is now going to get in balance, if that makes sense. Like karmically, what you put out is going to come back to you tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. It depends on how much you've sent out there. So it's like justice is being made. And it's not necessarily that you've been so deep in trouble that awful things, so now good things are going to come. It can just be that you're constantly giving of yourself so much to the point that then you don't receive anything back, or if you do, you sort of don't allow it in. That's going to also come your way now. Wait, who had this? It might come to me. It might be of importance. It might not. But we're moving in somewhat similar cards here as the previous signs. So, okay, Libra. You're definitely shifting something in your relationships. There's something going on here, and if it, like at first glance at these three cards, that sort of gives me a bit of a story straight up. It's like first everything was fine. You were promised the moon. You were promised everything, and then it turned really sour for you, and now you're letting it go. And so it's like it's such in alignment with whatever is going on energetically all throughout today. But I'm going to show you. So the first cut out is 7 heavenly virtues, which is like everything good is coming to you. It's like really, really, really good. And in terms of relationships, it feels like something that you've been waiting for, somebody that you've been waiting for. So that could be whether you're single or if you're separated from somebody. It feels like you maybe have given them time, or maybe they have given you time, depending on, it's a general reading, so it can be both ways. But whatever has gone on in this situation, I feel like you might have been waiting on somebody to make up their mind, or maybe just wait out, like something about like letting them be ready for you before you bombard your way in there. It's coming to fruition, but it's also coming to a quick halt. So whether it could, like, it feels, bear with me, it feels like it can be somebody that you've been waiting for, and you thought for 100% this was your person, and you've been waiting, and then maybe you went for coffee, or maybe you actually did get together, or maybe you had a phone call, or you wrote to them, or they send you something, or whatever, like communication happened. And after having that communication, I feel like you weren't so sure anymore. It's like something within you shifted, that sort of just with one sentence, or even with a word, or even with how they acted towards you, it was like you weren't feeling it anymore. if that makes sense. And if you're single, it feels like you've been waiting and waiting and waiting forever. You guys are probably sometime very soon gonna let somebody in, and it's gonna sort of weigh up for all the troubled all the troubled relationships that you've been in the past. That's what I feel like with the Justice, that like karma is being repaid in such awesome ways. Okay, because the next card out is the 7 deadly sins, and this really means, I mean, it has started off, it is the worst card in the deck, I won't lie. It's a really, really heavy card. It's really negative energy, but it's more like, look at yourself. This is like you're dressed in this gorgeous rainbow energy, and so I feel like you really are balanced. You look quite angry there though, but you are balanced. When the rainbow energy is showed up like this, you are balanced. But when you're trying to send this out, do you see that through the palm of your hands? You're trying to really, really make it like across the board to somebody, or this maybe was like you had such high hopes for somebody, and then it sort of turned sour, or it turned in a way that you weren't expecting, or you weren't maybe not expecting yourself to react. Like you thought this was your person, and then all of a sudden this insight comes that maybe they're not it. Maybe you were wrong, or maybe you feel differently. And so it's like you put all your eggs in one basket. You put all your eggs in one basket, and sort of wanted it to be like towards this one person, and then it just it doesn't really go anywhere. It's just sour people around you who doesn't sort of get what you're trying to do here, and whether they're in a relationship, or whether they just don't feel your groove, or they're just not that interested in you, or whatever is going on here, I just feel like you feel that was a fail, like that was and maybe feel a bit disappointed. If you're a single person, this card just validates to not now rush into anything. It feels like, okay, you get one hint about something, or you see somebody that looked good, and you're like, is that it? Is that him? Is that her? Is that my person? To sort of not rush into anything, and to not sort of push the universe's timing, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like everything's going to happen in the perfect order, in the perfect time and timing. And so don't push for it, because you will only get drained. You will only spend minutes, energy, investment of yourself towards something that really could be something, but you're rushing it. So this card for you single guys is more like, take it easy, wait for the next signal. It might even be a person that approaches you. You don't have to do anything. So it's like, Libra, don't rush it now. Just continue to do what you've been doing all the way up until this place. But when the sort of urgency of the full moon, because full moon often talks about like a manifestation. We've come full circle with something. We started with a new moon, and it's like new energy, and we put the seeds down in the ground, and it's like we watch it grow, and we want to nurture it, and then come full moon, it's like it's ready to get the benefits of whatever you did, and it's like something is going to manifest. And so you sort of feel a bit of an urgency to now, like, is it done yet? Like, is the cookies in the oven done yet? Can we take them out now? And it's like, just wait, Libra. It's going to be shown to you. For you guys, who I feel like maybe you were a bit let down, or you whatever you thought was going to happen, and that this person was your person, as best and as fast as you can, just let it go. And I feel like you almost really weirdly will do that really fast. It feels like I'm exaggerating a tiny bit now, but not really, but a tiny bit. So let's say you you waited on this person for 6 months or a year. For a year, you thought this was your person. They just needed time. They just needed to get out of a relationship. They just needed time, and you were just to wait for them. And when they were free, or when they were accessible in some way, it was yours to have. And then all of a sudden, they're not. For some reason, you've decided this is not your person. And if you think that, you spend all this time on one person, maybe you even were with them, like together with them before, that's why you have been waiting for them. I don't know what the story is here. But some way, shape or form, you've been waiting on them. And then it's like they say something, they do something, you feel something shifts for you, and all of a sudden you just realize that they are not your person. Or if they tell you after a year's waiting, maybe they even told you to wait for them. Maybe they just give me time. Maybe I hope you're not, I shouldn't judge bring my personal judgment in there, but I was going to say, I hope you weren't the other woman or the other man and you felt really discouraged during this time. But if there's been somebody who said, promise you the world, because this is the shooting star in the beginning, they're which is wishes come true, wish fulfillment, promise you the world, and then a year later they wait for me, and now they're free, or now they're divorced, or now they're saying, do you know what, it's not gonna happen, I'm gonna stay with this person. And it's okay, then it might feel like it could take forever for you to let them go, but I feel like you quite have an easy time to do that. Maybe just the first few days is really hard, and then it's like something has been lifted off of you. It's like, I always want to use, it took me a while back, I was with somebody, and it was almost like not a romantic term thrown around, but the term codependency. I sort of didn't know what that meant, and until I was in a relationship, and I thought I was drawn to this person, and that it was out of love, out of interest, out of passion, to then just realize that I almost was drawn to this person out of fear rather than passion, to realize what would happen if I told them frankly, straight up, I'm not interested. It might sound really sad. I've gained a lot of power through that because of that, so I'm all good. But the reason I bring it up is that I feel somewhat codependency here, guys. And if it was codependency, that's why it's a way more easy time to let it go. It doesn't sound like it's easy to let go when it's specifically codependency, because that's what codependency is. You're dependent. You feel dependent on them. Even though they're not good for you, you feel dependent on them. But there's something about this that you're going to have an easier time to let it go. And for you single people, this is more of a letting go of whatever you have dealt with in the past, to sort of let in this beautiful relationship that I feel is on the way to you, and obviously that goes for you who's been separated as well, for every Libra, that whatever sort of has been going on in the past, that you sort of have been working through your way up until this point, it's like you're letting it go now. All the stuff, you're letting it go. So with this full moon, it's almost like a completion of stuff that you've been relationship wise been dealing with in the past, and now we can finally move forward. Give yourself a moment, take a break, take a breather if it feels tough for you who've been separated, to just come to terms with it. I feel like it's equally liberating, freeing, as it is heavy at first. So I feel like it could be really mixed emotions. Yes, so for both of you, like a finishing off card here for the Libras, Archangel Raphael comes in to say, we're the provider of healing for your mind and your body, and send whatever you need to send to your angels right now. Maybe write a letter to the person that you were sort of disappointed with, and then tear it up or burn it up. You don't necessarily have to tell the person. Maybe that just prolongs stuff that you don't need in your life anymore. And for you single people out there, the same thing. Just let everything be healed. Take this Venus, take this opportunity to really feel it out with this full moon energy that's gonna go on for a month now, and then with Venus coming in with Pluto and Saturn, and just really let yourself be healed from everything from the past, and so you're really, really, truly ready for your next relationship. Okay, guys, I hope this helps and inspires you guys. And I also want to take a second to say that next week I will do a 2020 reading, like what to expect for your 2020. And then the next week after that, I won't do a love reading because then it's Christmas and New Year, so I'll take a little break there. So, and it's also maybe not going to be on the Thursday that I post it, but maybe towards the end of the week. So you won't feel like left out when come Thursday and it's not there, because I think I will post them all at once. Okay, guys, hope this helps. Happy full moon and take care. Bye.